suppose you're not used to doing it.
Do the handshake.
Sorry.
Very, very tip top right there.
All right. Cool. Let's pause again. Stop. It'll make it work. So, more chaos. We're just incrementally adding chaos to it. And it's overwhelming chaos. Because it's like, damn, there's 2 people, and they've got 4 damn hands, and they're all coming at you. And then you're putting more chaotic stuff in the equation because we're giving you more range to do different things too, right? What I noticed was in hand-on dory, you get out there with some studded hand-on dory, and you get overwhelmed so damn fast, it's crazy. You're like, what the hell? How the hell did you ever learn that? Ah! That's what it felt like for a long time. Ah! It didn't feel like much of others than that. But when you get 2 people on you and you start with a set of rules and then you just gradually shift with the rules, you can make it incrementally more chaotic and still get comfortable at this level. And then if you get to the next level, it's like, oh shit, this is too chaotic enough. Step back, do the one you just did before. Go back to where it was comfortable again. Cool? But we're building a skill set, a set of skills that goes toward accommodating chaos at all these gradient levels until you don't care what kind of chaos is hitting you. Until your adrenaline's like, now this is exciting, but it's not overwhelming. Because we don't need the overwhelm. We want to train in such a way that whatever the hell's coming at you. And you see these guys that have been through a lot of crap, and they've trained into it enough, and they just sort of, I don't know, they get this very flat expression. It's like they're just staring off in space, sort of. And we're going to do some of that here in a second. But it's part of the adrenaline reflex thing. Like, oh, he's shell-shocked or something. No, he's just got that. You can throw the world at him, and he's just going to handle it like it's a piece of machinery. And if he kills it, if it rolls over, it'll roll over. It's not that he's invulnerable, but it's not going to cause that heart rate to kick back up over 145. He's not going to wind up in the locked up there.
That was my question that I delayed before. I'm not sure I understand the answer yet or not. But how do you get used to that amount of stimulus without allowing it to go up? Is it just experience based?
Progressive. You got to do this sort of exercise where you're progressively increasing overwhelm.
So you get used to it.
Over and over and over again. And when you get past the peak, then you got to take yourself a step back and do something that wasn't overwhelming, and then keep inching back into what was overwhelming until your body accommodates. It's biofeedback. We're doing a primitive biofeedback exercise.
Thanks.
Say, what did you learn there? Well, we learned about doing a bunch of releases and hand changes, and I'm giving you all kinds of stuff to do, but that's not what you're learning. That's just the stuff to keep you active and make the chaos go. What you're really getting is the conditioning in the reflex. That's what I care about. I care about that your reflexes get conditioned to accommodate the overwhelmed signal problem to the degree that you're less overwhelmed. Because that's, I hope, is what will save your ass. It may save your ass to do cool stuff. I like that too. Hey, somebody attacked me and I did blah, blah, blah. Wow, neat. Good for you. I'm glad that worked. But, what I'm really most interested in is, I don't know, I looked up, Nick, and there was a guy with a club and a bar stool was hitting me, and I turned around, and oh shit, and I'm in the middle of it. I turned out, and then he fell over, and I don't know how the hell it happened, but I just got out of there. Hallelujah. Because the bar stool's hitting is the first sign you're in a fight. That's a bad day. That's a bad day. And you can live in that.
That wasn't a duel.
No, there wasn't any, hey, you're looking at me? No.
It's the definition of tone.
Right, the bar stool is the first sign you have something's wrong. It's, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that this sort of experience gets into your bones, gets into your internalization, and you do it. You won't just get it from doing it here for a few days. You got to go home and play with it more. But keep pushing the envelope of your own stimulus reflex in your system. Feel your heart rate. Feel that excitement come up, and then keep pushing into that, and then when it's too much, back on. It's just like training weights. You go in there and you get on the weight stack and you try to do the monster thing right off the bat. You're just going to frustrate yourself. And you can sit there and try to push the weight that's unliftable for a long time, and it still remains unliftable. You have to start with the liftable weight, and then incrementally add weight to the stack until you're lifting the whole damn stack, right? It's a gradual progression. That's what this is too. It's gradual progression. Don't try to overdo it all at once. You want to say something, Greg?
Yes. When he's talking about, he's not necessarily talking about acceleration and speed when you're attacking. I mean, this can be done, actually you get more attuned to your focus as the attacker. You're more centered when you attack. And I mean, it can be done in a gradual speed and still your level will
That's right.
elevate.
That's right. We fall prey to an illusion about speed, that they all have to be attacking you like madman fast, which is not so. Your nervous system does not care. Your nervous system goes at the rate of electricity firing through your nervous system, which the neurologist over here can tell us is real fucking fast, right? Right. The energy of the electrical signal is real damn fast. And it doesn't care. Stimulus response doesn't care. So you can do the whole thing in slow motion like a bunch of Tai Chi. And gradually build it up from there. And over time, you can take it from Tai Chi speed to full tilt Bozo, and it won't seem much different to you. In fact, I did a lot of years of just randori that was about this speed. And I just set that as my speed limit. I'm just, by golly, going to be randori, and I'm trying not to ever get faster than this. And just a little movement like this. For a long, 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 long time. And space ghosts, and guys like Greg and Kyle and Jack probably invested some time in slow speed work, I would guess. Yeah? And I would guess, I know with you, and I know with you, and Kyle some, you're still on the edge of it, and Jack for sure, that you have to invest in some time where there's no power, where your hands just are touching, but they're like sensors out there. They're not like, you're not even putting power out there.
They're not do thingies.
They're not do thingies, they're just feel thingies. Yeah. They're out there to feel something, but you're not interested in doing stuff with them very much.
You're not giving them much information.
Yeah. And you start giving them less, which is back to this morning, right? Back to the void. So you have to build the parameters up fairly slowly over time, but one of the parameters we never really considered is this overwhelm parameter. You'd walk out with the stud in randori and get overwhelmed real fast, but it would be all or nothing. And this is a way to sort of stretch that experience out over a long set of training protocols until you can build highly resilient ukemi, or accommodation of energy, without going all or nothing when the overwhelm. Cool?
Yes, sir.
Cool. The next deal that happens is you got to deal with two people at once hitting you about the same time. So come on, man. They hit me at the same time. Boom, and two things happen. There tends to be, if I try to do two releases at once, I get crossed up with myself. It's hard to do both at the same time. So one thing you learn to do is you basically say, I'm just going to ignore one of them and just do a release on the other. Then I'll do it. So you put them in series, basically. One guy just gets to own it for a moment. So I'll just pick at random. I think I'll let Daniel own it for a moment, and I'll do a release on him. And while that's happening, now I can do a release on him. Make them in series. You don't try to do two at once. The other thing that happens is this is also an opportunity for when you go under an arm. And it doesn't matter which way you go under an arm, whether you're doing any of the last four releases in the series, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But whatever you do, you go under an arm, and they are going to run into each other. They can't not. So you practice that a little bit. You say, I'm just going to ignore one, and do a release when I go under an arm, bam. And then be cognizant of the fact that they're about to interfere with each other in a dramatic way. And so it's good to do this kind of slow, because you don't want their heads hitting together if they're friends. Right? It's like the clacky balls. You know, I don't know. When I was a kid, they had the balls on the string and go click, clack, click, clack. That's what they are. These big brain pans, these big hard brain pans. Clack, yeah, right. Boom, okay. So you want to get comfortable with slipping under the arm, and you want to get comfortable with working one release at a time, not two at once. Cool? Cool. I'm not saying two at once can't work. Sometimes it will. Sometimes you go, cool. And it's all cool, but you have to let your shoulders get independent of each other to do that. Because the center is really only tracking one of them, I promise. Cool? Okay, so let's try that. Simultaneous attack. So they're clumping up on you all at once. Good?